Manual transmission, turbocharged Boxster engine, full-time all-wheel drive, and one of the most recognizable exhaust notes ever put into a production car.
And those things sound really appealing. However, we're talking about an engine that dates back to the late 80s. We're talking about a vehicle that has laughable gas mileage. Why would anyone still want to buy an STI? And there is a very good reason.
And it's truly because you cannot buy cars that are this engaging to drive anymore, that are this mechanical, that feel so in tune with you as a driver. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Performance on Wheels. If you guys are a fan of anything from 700 horsepower go-karts to basic, boring daily drivers, you guys are in the right place. Welcome to Performance on Wheels, where this father and son drive any and everything. If you'd be willing to do us a favor and hit subscribe, we're gonna go get after it in this STI. STI of this generation is truly the last great driving car that you can drive for seasons of fun. A year round in this price point. I mean, we're talking about a symmetrical all-wheel drive system that is just a true joy to drive, whether you're in the dirt, pavement, or snow. There are not many cars out there that can handle all of those conditions in such a fun manner. The STI of this generation really pushed Subaru to the top of their performance that they still have yet to top today. So it makes going back a few years, not even looking at the current gen WRX, but looking at this gen of STI, really appealing.
I believe the WRX is one of those vehicles that everyone that appreciates cars has a story about, and we at Performance on Wheels have one of those stories as well, because essentially a WRX is how this channel started, and that's because my son went to a rally driving school, which is one of the best things that the WRX can do, and that's what it's known for.
I learned so much about the characteristics of these cars and how they truly drive and rotate, which is so impressive to me. One of the things that I learned the most was left foot braking when you're rally driving, and learning how to truly rotate the rear end of the car properly around a corner while maintaining the speed. It's just so impressive to me what this car is capable of doing. Before we get it up on the lift and talk about the technical side of things, let's see if the interior still holds up here in 2026 in comparison to other cars in the same price range.
On the inside of the STI, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of love it in here. This is the 2020 that we're in, by the way, and I just think it's fun. I loved all the different textures and the colors and how STI is illuminated in the center console there. And there's just so many fun things about it that I just appreciate. It is still a car that you get in here, whether you're talking about the Recaro seat, the Alcantara versus kind of the little leather on the bolstering. It's just a really cool spot to be.
I think they did a fantastic job with the STI of this generation. However, there's a few things that I would personally critique. One of them actually being the seats. Now, I do really enjoy them. However, it has these bolsters and has the Alcantara, right? But it still feels like you slide around a bit in them. If they would have made them just kind of a little bit deeper of seats or made the bolsters a little bit larger, I think they might have been a little bit more stable when you're trying to slide this thing around in the corners, because there's still a lot of back sway that goes on in the back of this thing. What I can't complain about, however, is the steering wheel. It is just fantastic. The grab points are amazing. The flat bottom, it's just a really well laid out steering wheel, as well as the gauges. Everything is easy to see. I love the analog over digital, and they just did a really good job at the tech in this car. It doesn't feel too old or too new in the sense where it's just screens everywhere, but it's just right in the center where it's easy to control our climate with basic turn knobs, and everything through our screen is exactly what we could possibly want. And it also is a 6-speed manual transmission, which is hard to come by in days like today.
You mentioned the rear end getting a little loose and sliding around in the seats. It is an actual functional big wing back there. They say about 60 pounds of downforce goes on the rear end at speed back there, which is supposed to plant the rear end. I don't think 60 pounds is that much for the size of the wing, but maybe that's just me. What do I know?
Yeah, I would totally agree, but if we're going to get technical, let's go throw this thing up on the lift and see what the underside looks like. And now that we have the STI on the lift, this is where we truly begin to understand where its legendary status comes from. Starting up front, we've got Subaru's famous 2.5-liter EJ257 turbocharged Boxster engine, because all the cylinders lay flat instead of standing upright like a traditional engine. Essentially, this allows Subaru to set the engine much lower in the chassis, which lowers the center of gravity and allows it to have significantly less body roll when throwing it around in corners. And moving underneath, you'll notice Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. Unlike many modern all-wheel drive systems that only send power to the rear wheels when needed, the STI here is able to send an equal amount of power to all four wheels at the exact same time. The engine, the transmission, the drive shaft, and differentials are all mounted along the center line of the car that create an equal balance and predictable handling. But I think the coolest part about the STI is its driveline, because it doesn't just have one differential or two differentials, it actually has three. It uses a limited slip differential up front, a driver controlled center differential and a torsion limited slip in the rear, and together they help put the power down effectively and give the STI incredible traction. You'll also notice that up front we have 6-piston Brembo calipers and we have 2 pistons in the rear, and you compare that brake setup with the suspension setup on these cars and it is just incredible what they can do on and off-road. And right back here, you will notice Subaru's stout 6-speed manual transmission. It really is quite good, as well as the factory exhaust system, which really gives the Boxer a nice rumble, a great low tone. However, it's time we swap that thing out and make this thing sound even better.
Before we wake this thing up with a new exhaust system, let's see how this 27,000 mile example has been holding up over time. We did notice that it's time for some new front brakes. The pads are a little bit worn down from a visual standpoint. We also are getting a little indicator just by hearing that squeaking noise. And we noticed the carrier bearing right in front of what we also noticed, a MagnaFlow resonator, is there's a little grease splatter on this carrier bearing. It looks old, so I'm assuming that was already addressed. Other than that, this thing has been rock solid, really reliable. It's ready for some more rally, and it's going to be even better when we wake this thing up with the new exhaust system. What we are going to put on the STI is the Invidia R400 exhaust, which is an amazing exhaust system. Ultimately, we are going to unlock that rumble that you can hear from the stock exhaust, and we're just going to amplify that noise that everyone really enjoys. The R400 is a more aggressive exhaust, so we are expecting this thing to wake up quite a bit. And this is a very high quality system. Even though we're putting on a used system, we expect many years of use in front of us because it's stainless steel. We also have some titanium tips, and they're hand blown, so all of the burnt marks are hand. Every exhaust tip from Invidia is going to be different in that regard. We know it's the R400 because we have the compact mufflers there. So this is a very nice, high quality exhaust system. It's going to wake up what people appreciate about the sound of that Boxer engine.
And to get started, we're going to take a 14mm and a 12mm and go ahead and remove the 2 bolts that are holding on the front flange just behind the secondary catalytic converter. Once you have both of these out, we're just going to simply nicely separate these two. It should kind of fall down lightly, but we're going to go ahead and go back here and we're going to take a 15 and remove this little clamp to take off this resonator. Just to make it easier in our case scenario, we're going to remove the rear muffler separately with a 15 and a 14. Next up, we're going to remove this exhaust hanger that is sitting right next to the diff. Just kind of pull this guy out. Then we just have to remove the 2 exhaust hangers on each muffler, one on that side and the other one is on the inside of the muffler. Kind of challenging to get on camera. Once we have both of those removed, the entire exhaust will be out. We got the factory exhaust fully removed. Look at these absolute suitcases of factory mufflers. I'm excited to get this new Invidia exhaust on, and it's really quite simple. Let's go ahead and start with the first piece here, which already feels much lighter than that factory one. We're just gonna line her right up and bolt her right in, just like we took the old one out.
Invidia exhaust sounds absolutely amazing, and I so appreciate the fact that we can look back at these cars that really aren't that old, but in my opinion they're light years ahead from an enjoyment standpoint from a modern day car, and I think they're going to only become more and more popular because of that.
I would totally agree. I think the STI, even in today's day and age, is a fantastic buy, and I can't believe how good that Invidia exhaust sounds. Really woke up this STI, and I really greatly enjoy this, and I'm not sure that there's a better daily driver in this price point. If you're looking for an analog, just driver engagement car that you can drive every single season of the year, no matter where the heck you live, There's no other cars that are like it anymore. I mean, I can't even think of one that's a 6-speed manual that has the rally capability of this car that's brand new, right? I mean, essentially, I'm pretty sure the Golfs are all going to DSG now, and the ones that are manual are only front-wheel drive, if I do recall. So this really is the only option if you're looking for 4 seasons of fun. Let me know what you guys think of the STI of this generation, because I had a lot of fun putting the exhaust on it today. Really fun, quick video. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you next time.